You're listening to the Black to Business Podcast, an educational podcast providing Black entrepreneurs with the tools and resources to start and grow their businesses. We chat with vetted Black entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and business owners as they provide tips and resources to help take your business to the next level. I'm your host, Monique T. Marshall. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Black to Business Podcast. I'm your host, Monique T. Marshall, and today's episode is a short and sweet solo episode, and I wanted to come on here and talk about the fact that it is that time of year again. The holidays are here, and for those of you who celebrate, this season can be full of joy and connection, but let's face it, it can also be a lot. So running a business during the holiday comes with its own unique set of challenges. You are juggling your year-end goals, customer expectations, and maybe even a holiday promotion or two. And on top of that, you got some personal obligations like family gatherings, gift shopping, and everything else that comes with the season. And if you are feeling the weight of it all, trust me, you are not alone, because this is the time of the year it can feel very, very overwhelming, and it doesn't have to be that way, and it doesn't have to take over your peace. So with the right mindset and some actionable strategies, it is so possible not just to survive the holiday season, but actually enjoy it. So I've had my share of holiday seasons where it has felt like everything needed to get done at once. And I was constantly being pulled in 10 different directions, and you know it's a lot, especially if you have to travel for the holidays. So for me, oftentimes I go back home to Georgia from New York, and it could be a lot. So with trial and error, I have picked up some tips that have helped me manage the stress and stay focused on what really matters, both business and my personal life. And so in today's episode, I want to break it all down for you. And we're going to talk about how to navigate the stress and overwhelm of running your business during the holidays. So whether it's setting boundaries, staying organized, or balancing those family obligations, I got you covered with some practical advice to help you keep your head and heart where it needs to be in this season. So let's get into it. All right, so now that I've set the stage, let's talk about where all this stress actually comes from. So the first step to managing holiday overwhelm is recognizing what is causing it. Because let's be honest, the holidays have a way of magnifying everything, and that's the good and the bad. So on the business side, there's often so much to juggle. Maybe you're feeling the pressure of increased customer demands. You're trying to hit those end of the year sales goals, or you're dealing with some tight deadlines. And if you're managing a team, there might be some staffing shortages as people tend to take time off for the holidays. And then on top of this, you have the personal side. So you got these family gatherings, you got to do some gift shopping. And then there's this societal pressure to create this picture perfect holiday experience. And it can feel like everyone wants a piece of your time and energy, leaving you wondering, how are you supposed to balance it all? And let's not forget the overlap that comes. You might be trying to handle your business responsibilities while also you are showing up for these family traditions, events, or even just the everyday chaos that comes with this time of year. And for some of us, the holidays can also bring up emotional challenges. So grief for loved ones who aren't here, loneliness, or the weight of unmet expectation. And all of these feelings are valid, and they can add another layer to an already overwhelming season. So where do we start? Now, I would advise you to grab a notebook or open up your notes app. I love my notes app, and make a list. So you want to write down all the things that are weighing on you, both business and personal. So maybe it's that big project deadline, and maybe it also might be the need to stock up on inventory, or the stress of coordinating family plans. Whatever it is, put it all on paper. And this might feel like a lot at first, but trust me, seeing it laid out in front of you can be empowering. So it helps you pinpoint exactly what's causing your stress, and from there you can start to tackle things one at a time instead of letting it build up in your head. Recognizing the sources of your stress isn't about fixing everything immediately. It's about giving yourself the clarity to understand what you're dealing with so you can approach it with intention. Once you have that clarity, you're in a much better position to create a plan that actually works for you. Okay? So now that we've identified the sources of your stress, the next step is to set boundaries that protect your time and energy. I personally believe that this is one of the most powerful ways to stay in control during a hectic season. And the truth is that you cannot do it all and you don't have to. And so this starts with getting comfortable with saying no. So whether it's politely declining an extra family event, a last minute business request, or a social obligation, remember your time is valuable and you have the right to prioritize it. So when it comes to business, setting boundaries means being clear with your team and your clients. So for instance, if you know you're going to be spending time with family or just need a mental break, communicate that ahead of time. And so let your team know your availability and make sure your clients are aware of the holiday deadlines or the limited hours that you have. In this way, everyone's on the same page and you're not left scrambling to meet unexpected demands. And on the personal side, boundaries are just as important. Family and friends often have expectations for how the holidays should look, but that doesn't mean you have to meet every single one of them. So maybe you're not up for hosting this year, or perhaps you prefer a quiet evening over a packed event, and that is perfectly okay. So communicate these boundaries with love and let your loved ones know what works for you. And here's another tip I'd say is set realistic expectations for yourself also. So as entrepreneurs, we often push ourselves to do more, but during the holidays, it's especially important to recognize your limits. For example, if you're running a product-based business, avoid overpromising on shipping times or taking on extra orders at the expense of your well-being. And here's what I recommend. Take some time to create a holiday schedule. And this doesn't have to be overly detailed, but block off time for both work and personal life. So maybe it's designating mornings for business tasks and evenings for family, or even carving out a whole day just for yourself to recharge. And so once you've created this schedule, share it with your team, your clients, and your family. And this simple act of communicating your availability helps manage expectations, and it also prevents misunderstandings. For instance, you want to let your team know which hours you're reachable or inform clients of holiday deadlines ahead of time. And on that personal side, let your loved ones know when you're available for gatherings or when you need quiet time. Setting boundaries isn't about being rigid, it's about being intentional with your time. And when you're clear about what you can and can't do, you'll feel less overwhelmed and more in control. And most importantly, I believe you'll have that space to truly enjoy the holidays on your terms. So as we move forward, let's also talk about staying organized when everything around you feels like it is so chaotic. During the holidays, it's easy for things to pile up. So whether it's work deadlines, personal obligations, or the countless little things that come with this time of year. But staying organized can be your secret weapon to managing it all without burning out. So first, let's start with planning ahead. Organization isn't just about having a neat calendar. It's about reducing stress by staying ahead of the game. So in your business, this might mean setting up systems that help you stay on top of things, like using a project management tool. For example, I use ClickUp to track those deadlines, or you can automate certain tasks such as email responses or social media posts. For example, if you know you'll be out of the office or have limited time, consider delegating responsibilities to team members or even outsourcing those tasks. So I know what a lot of people do is during this season, if you have a virtual business, you might hire a virtual assistant to handle these customer service inquiries during the holiday seasons. But you have to remember you don't have to do it all yourself. So investing a little time up front to set these systems up in place will save you a ton of stress down the line. And on the personal side, staying organized is just as important. So things like holiday shopping, meal planning, and even travel arrangements can easily get overwhelming if you leave it to the last minute. So I would say start by making a list of everything that needs to be done and then break it into smaller, manageable tasks. So for example, instead of trying to tackle all of your gift shopping in one day, schedule it over a few afternoons or take advantage of online shopping to save you time and energy. And one thing I found helpful is setting weekly priorities. So when you have so much going on, it's so easy to get distracted by small, less important tasks. But when you're clear on your priorities, it's easier to focus on what truly matters. So each week you want to ask yourself, what are the 3 most important things I need to accomplish in my business and personal life? And then write them down and let those be your focus. And to keep yourself on track day to day, try using a simple 3 most important things list. And at the start of each day, you want to write down the 3 top priority tasks you want to complete. And these should be things that move the needle in your business or help you manage your personal life effectively. And by narrowing your focus to 3 tasks, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment without the overwhelm of a long to-do list. I hate a long to-do list. And another tip is you want to schedule everything, so even personal tasks. If you have to shop for gifts, plan your meals, or attend a holiday event, block that time out on your calendar just like you would for a work meeting. And so seeing it laid out visually can help you better manage your time and avoid the last minute scrambling that often adds to the unnecessary stress. Now let's shift gears and talk about something that often gets pushed to the bottom of the list during the holidays, and that is self-care. So with all these demands on your time, business deadlines, family obligations, and just the general hustle of the season, it's so easy to overlook taking care of yourself. But here is the reality. If you are running on empty, you will not be able to show up fully for your business or your loved ones. Self-care isn't just a luxury. It is truly, truly essential. So it is what sustains your energy, it keeps your mind clear, and it helps you avoid burnout. So when you're juggling a million things, the last thing you want is to completely burn out and have to recover while everything else just keeps moving forward. And that's why making time for yourself, however small it might be, isn't selfish, it's smart. So let's talk about a few practical ways you can prioritize self-care during this hectic season. So first, remember that self-care doesn't have to be elaborate. Small actions can make a big difference. So things like staying hydrated, making sure you're eating regularly, nourishing meals, and just prioritizing your sleep are simple but powerful ways to take care of yourself. Even taking a 5 to 10 minute break in between tasks to stretch, breathe deeply, or just step outside for fresh air can help you reset and recharge. Sometimes I like to just run to the store. So that's what I recommend. And then another way to manage stress is by incorporating activities that help you relax and refocus. So whether it's journaling, meditation, or even just a quick workout, these activities can be transformative, even if you only do 10 to 15 minutes a day. Personally, I found that just a few minutes of quiet reflection or just writing down what I'm grateful for can really shift my mindset and help me feel more grounded no matter how chaotic the day gets. And one challenge I know many of us face is that guilt that can creep in when we're taking that time for ourselves. So when there's so much to do and people depending on you, stepping away for self-care might feel indulgent or even irresponsible. But I want to remind you that taking care of yourself is what enables you to take care of everything else. So you're not doing anyone else any favors by running yourself ragged. So when you're well rested, when you're focused and you're feeling your best, you can show up with that energy and that clarity that your business and your loved ones need from you. So I want to give you a few tips. So here's something that worked for me. Schedule self-care in your calendar the same way you would a meeting or work task. So for example, usually in the mornings, I used to just get up and get straight to work, but I use that time to actually practice self-care. It's already in my calendar. So you want to think of it as a non-negotiable appointment with yourself. Maybe it's just 15 minutes in the morning for a quiet cup of coffee, or 30 minutes for a workout, or even you can take an hour to unwind with your favorite book or your favorite show. And by putting it on your calendar, you're creating a boundary that protects your time, and then it also reminds you to prioritize your well-being. And you do not have to do everything perfectly. The goal here is to find small ways to take care of yourself and do it consistently, even when your schedule feels like it's packed. Because when you prioritize your well-being, you're not just investing in yourself, you're also investing in the success of your business and the quality of your relationships. So as you move through this busy holiday season, remember, self-care isn't optional. It's the foundation that supports everything else you do. And so take the time you need to recharge and don't let guilt hold you back. You deserve it, and your business and loved ones will thank you for it. Trust me. And then also during the holiday season, it is so easy to feel like you're constantly in motion, putting out fires, juggling obligations, and just trying to keep things afloat. But when you step back and you reconnect with your purpose, everything starts to feel a little more manageable. So your purpose, your why, is what drives you, even in the busiest and most chaotic times. So think back to when you started your business, or why you started your business in the first place. Was it to create opportunities for your family, to make a lasting impact on your community, to solve a problem that you deeply care about? Whatever it is, your purpose is bigger than just the day-to-day hustle. And during the holidays, it's a great time to reflect on that. So the bigger picture of what you're building doesn't disappear just because things get busy. If anything, the holidays can be a reminder to celebrate how far you've come. And maybe you've hit some major milestone this year, or maybe the progress was smaller but still meaningful, like sticking to a new habit, securing a new client, or just simply getting through a tough season. No matter what it looks like, every step forward deserves that recognition. And then another powerful way to stay grounded is through gratitude. So when the to-do list feels like it's endless, it can be easy to focus on what's not going right or what still needs to be done. But gratitude shifts your perspective and helps you see the good that's already in front of you. So maybe it's your loyal customers who keep showing up. Maybe it's your team working hard alongside you. Or maybe it's just taking a moment to appreciate yourself for showing up every day, even when it's hard. Gratitude does not have to be complicated. One simple practice I recommend is ending each day by writing down 3 things that you're grateful for. And these don't have to be big. Maybe it's as simple as getting a kind email from a client, or just enjoying a quiet cup of coffee in the morning. And writing these down helps shift your focus from that stress to appreciation. And it's a small habit that can have a big impact on your mindset. So your purpose and your gratitude are your anchors during these hectic times. And they remind you that the work that you are doing is meaningful and that the progress is worth celebrating. So even in the middle of the busyness, this is that beautiful reminder. So as you're navigating this season, let your purpose and gratitude keep you grounded, and then also keep you moving forward with that intention. And as we wrap up, I want to take a moment to reflect on what we've covered today. So as I mentioned, the holidays can be challenging times for many reasons, but by recognizing the sources of stress, setting boundaries, staying organized, prioritizing self-care, and grounding yourself in your purpose, you can navigate the season with more ease and intention. And I also want to remind you that it's okay not to have everything perfectly figured out. The beauty of this journey is the effort that you put in day by day. So doing your best, whatever that looks like for you right now, is more than enough. And give yourself permission to breathe, to pause, and to celebrate the small wins along the way. And I want to give you an additional tip. I'd say I would love for you to pick just one tip from today's episode and just commit to trying it this week. So whether it's creating a 3 most important things list, or setting aside time for self-care, or just reflecting on your purpose, one small action can set up the tone for a more grounded and intentional season. So I would love for you to just pick one thing. Don't get overwhelmed with doing all the things. And then I'd also love to hear from you. So what was your favorite tip from this episode? And share it on social media. You can follow us on Instagram. And also, we just got a TikTok account. It's Black to Business Official. And let me know what you think so we can keep this conversation going. And then also, don't forget to check out blacktobusiness.com/resources for new tools, guides, and ideas to help you stay on track during the holiday season. And I want to thank you so much for being a part of the Black to Business family and also spending time with me today. I really hope you found this episode valuable and, most importantly, encouraging as you're moving forward during this holiday season. And of course, I will chat with you next week, same time, same place. And in the meantime, keep building and keep pushing the culture forward. Later.